There's no doubt about that fall's in full swing here in North Texas. I'm lucky enough to be on this ranch. It's only 10 or 15 minutes from my house. And I got up pretty early this morning and came out. I wanted to set up this blind when it was completely dark, and it wasn't completely dark. Last night, or the past few nights, we've had a completely full moon lighting up the landscape at night, and it was pretty bright out here when I got here. But once I got this portable blind set up, I've been out here about an hour now. Just wanted to see the sun come up, and it never ceases to amaze me. It'd be quiet, really quiet, really quiet. Then all of a sudden, it's like all the birds wake up at one time. So I've been sitting here listening to the birds sing. I had one little buck walk past a minute ago, and that's the reason I'm out here. We're in the midst. It's the third week of November, and typically this is when the whitetail deer rut really gets going in this part of Texas. And so I'm on this ranch that has good deer numbers, has some pretty nice bucks on it, and by the grace of the landowner, he's letting me come out and see if I can't photograph a few bucks in rut. And again, like I said, I had a small buck come by early, but it was really too early to photograph. He was kind of on the move. He spotted the blind, but he wasn't too worried about it. But this location I'm set up on is kind of a pinch point. I've got sitting up on I'm in a little island of trees, and I'm looking over at another island of trees, and there's a little pinch point field between the two. It's a hay field, so I'm hoping these deer will move through these woods across this pinch point to my south a little bit. This setup right now is pretty typical of how people would deer hunt, with the exception I'm not really worried about the wind. I'm worried about the direction of the sun. So even today the wind ought to be in my favor. It's from the south, so it's blowing into my face. My back is to the east. This setup ought to be pretty good. Now the one thing you can't control is whether the deer show up or not, so hopefully they will as it gets a little bit lighter. It's pretty close to sunrise right now, so as we get some sun on the landscape, hopefully about the next hour and a half, we'll have a lot of deer movement through here and be able to get some nice photographs of some bucks. Well, the sun finally came up, and the light's beautiful this morning. A little bit overcast, but it's not too much. We're not getting directional sunlight, and but it's beautiful warm light coming up. And I'm seeing deer, but they're just far off. That's one of the bad things about where I'm set up. I was hoping to use this pinch point where this little island of woods comes out and catch deer crossing this narrow point over to the other woods to the east of me, and it just hasn't worked out that way. On this hayfield, like I said, I can see probably, I don't know, a quarter of a mile away, maybe further, 400 or 500 yards away, and I can see deer on the far ridge, but I'm just in the wrong spot. So you know, this is my first day on this place, and this is pretty typical of what it takes to get pictures of wild animals. You just gotta get them figured out and figure out what's going on with them and how they're moving and where they're moving. And it's the rut, so they're really unpredictable right now, but I'm gonna set this thing out for a little while longer, and I'm thinking we'll still get some deer kind of coming across, because those deer I just saw, they ran to the east and then they turned around and ran back to the kind of to the northwest. So now they're just to my west, but whether or not they'll sort of come back this way, I don't know. I've heard some deer behind me, some deer snorting earlier that I heard, and I've heard a few grunts in the woods. So the deer are definitely around, but these woods are so dense and thick. I just, you know, maybe we'll see them, maybe we won't. Well, my suspicions paid off, because just a few minutes ago, on the other side of this little point, a buck walked out, and he was just there for, 20 seconds. I didn't get a lot of pictures of him, but I got some nice pictures of him. But he just came across this little opening where I thought they would and headed to the other side. You know, deer photography is really hard, whitetail deer photography, especially in Texas where they get hunted so much. It's just hard to find a place where deer are just relaxed, and to be able to come out to a place like this and read the terrain and try to figure out where they're going to be moving, and hopefully get some semblance of accuracy is always rewarding, especially when you can get pictures of deer like this. And man, that buck was in good shape. He was big neck, really healthy. They're in full rut right now, so they're really chasing does. And again, I've been seeing them off in the distance chasing around a little bit, but it was good to have get one pretty close. So I'm gonna keep on in this spot for maybe another half hour or so, and I think the deer probably are going to bed right now. They moved all night long, and because of the full moon, and I'm not seeing any far in the distance at all moving around. So, but I'm thinking I'll go ahead and call it a day here pretty soon and just enjoy what I've had. I'm probably going to spend about the next week or two in North Texas, in this area, trying to get nice pictures of whitetail deer. And this is the area where I grew up. I remember when I was a kid going looking for deer and hunted deer from the time I was 10 years old till I was 16 or 17, and never really saw one. And that's how rare they were. But over the past 30 years or so, they've really exploded in numbers, and so there's good deer numbers all over, but they are kind of wary. But that's one of the things that makes it fun, to come out here and sit in the morning and listen to nature come alive for the day, and try to get pictures like this. So hopefully we'll have a few more come in, but if not, it's been a good day already. I mean, it's one of those things that if you can get one good picture, then I'm pretty happy, and I think I got that one good picture. So we'll see how the rest of the day goes. Hopefully I'll get some deer on video soon, but in the meantime, it's been pretty nice. I can't talk too loud because I got a buck standing right out there. But one of the things that I was keenly interested in and coming out this morning was to try out my brand new camera. I just picked up this Canon R5 about a week ago. Haven't had a lot of chance to use it. This is really the first time I've taken out into the field. Most of the other time was just around my house and just kind of piddling with it and understanding the controls. But I've used mirrorless cameras before, but this is really my first foray into mirrorless cameras, and I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy so far. It's pretty interesting what this camera can do, not only in terms of just the eye tracking focus, but also in the number of sheer pictures it'll take per second, but also just the video capabilities and how easy it is to switch from stills and press one. I've got it set up where I press one button, I'm shooting 8K video, or I press another button and it's got an auto crop mode. So it's a full frame camera, but you can set the auto crop mode and make it like a crop sensor, like a 1.6, and so you got a built-in teleconverter. And came in really handy a minute ago when I was trying to shoot a really tight shot of this little buck out in front. Just wanted a good face and head shot, and I was able to switch over to that crop mode, and it worked flawlessly. So again, I've used digital SLRs for the last, I don't know, 15, 16 years. And so to really radically uproot the way I've been doing things and using a whole new kind of camera system, it's a little bit, I'm not scared of technology, but it's a little bit unsettling, because things work like they work, and I've been able to get a lot of good pictures just because I can work my other equipment so fast. So this definitely, because it's a different piece of equipment, does have a learning curve, but I'm starting to get the hang of it pretty quick, and I think this is going to be valuable. Day 3 of Whitetail Week, and today the strategy is a little bit different. Instead of sitting in the blind, I'm just going to drive around this state park. I got a tip from a Facebook friend the other day that this state park that's south of Gainesville, Texas, is a pretty good place for whitetail deer. And so far, I believe, I'm just driving in, we've probably seen 30 deer so far, and saw a pretty nice buck. So right now I've got my brother Bubba with me. We're on the lookout for some white-tailed bucks, and hopefully we'll find a couple of nice ones that we can photograph. Got a few pictures already. So far so good, but the sun's just now coming up, so I'm thinking it's going to get a lot better.